Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are going to review the article Noise-induced hearing loss NIHL in grass trimming workers. Our group members consist of Zulaika binti Zulkifli and Fatin Atira binti Abdul Hamid. For the introduction, NIHL is one of the most common types of hearing loss. Noise that is too loud, especially over a long period of time, can cause serious and lasting damage to your hearing. NIHL results from repeated exposure to accumulated noise with high amplitude. Grass trimming workers were exposed to noisy motorized machine carried behind them. Background of study. This problem is very prevalent among the industrial community where workers are exposed to fluctuating noise level. NIHL is an important cause of disability and significant cost to society. It has been found to be the second most reported occupational illness and injury. For information, according to the Department of Occupational Safety and Health, Ministry of Human Resources Malaysia, statistics for 1995 until 2009 show that NIHL is the most frequently reported occupational disease and it is on a growing trend. NIHL also has previously been studied in specific workers such as construction workers. For the problem segment, hearing loss has been documented among naval drivers, airport workers, and quarry workers in Malaysia. On the other hand, grass trimming workers were not the subject of similar investigation. The fast and steady growth of grass in Malaysia, which is typical of a tropical environment, has created a high need for grass trimming services in order to maintain the neatness and beauty of the landscape. Due to the numerous levels and difficult angles that grass can grow, using a grass trimming machine is the ideal way to cut lawn grass along the roadside and on general agriculture property. Because these machines are designed for usage on the ground, using a lawn mower is not practicable. Grass trimming machine is a motorized cutter with a petrol engine that the employees carry on their backs and are attached to using belts. This exposes grass trimming worker to a noisy job and puts them at risk for NIHL. The noise created by these devices come from two sources. Number one, the machine's motor and the sound made by the plastic string that breaks apart the plants. Despite the fact that noise level may have a wide frequency range, hearing loss usually begins at 3 until 6 kHz. This is due to the reflection of sound energy at this frequency of the ear canal's inherent resonance. Significance of the study. This study will give new insight about the importance of NIHL and the risk and how to protect them from noise-induced hearing loss. And the second one, the findings of this study will be valuable for future research that will improve ways to overcome this problem. Next, for the objective, the first one is to study the prevalence of noise-induced hearing loss, and the second objective is to identify the characteristic among the grass trimming workers. As for methodology, a comparative cross-sectional study was conducted on 71 grass trimming workers, and clerks of the same institutions were selected to be studied as a part of study on noise-induced hearing loss, while the group of grass trimming workers as an exposed group and the clerks of the same institutions as a non-exposed group. All the workers in the both groups who aged less than 55 years with working experience of at least 3 years in the job were included. The sample size was calculated using a single proportions formula based on the prevalence of NIHL in the pilot at 19%. The level of confidence was set at 95% and precision at 10%. Ear examinations was conducted, followed by pure tone audiometry in a soundproof room at least 48 hours after the subject were free from the noise exposure. Noise-induced hearing loss was defined as a failed definitive threshold at frequency 3, 4, or 6 kHz of more than 20 decibels with the loss at the two nearest frequencies on both sides of the tip amounting to at least 5 decibels less. The intensity level of the grass trimming machines were measured by using
a sound level meter by putting the probe near the external ear of the workers about 20 centimeter apart from his spina. Next, the result. The range of noise level of the machines was in the between 91.3 decibels and 100.7 decibels with a mean of 95 decibels. There was a significant correlation of noise-induced hearing loss in the grass streaming worker, which is the p-value is 0.010 with the prevalence of 82.6%. The dip in PTA at 3, 4, and 6 kHz significantly occurred in the subjects with a p-value of 0.001, 0.009, and 0.036 respectively. For the opinion, currently there was no study done on the grass streaming worker, whereas grass streaming worker tend to get noise-induced hearing loss. So in my opinion, the noise-induced hearing loss in the grass streaming worker need to be conducted for future research other than contributing the data to improve the way to overcome this problem. For the future research, the durations of exposure play an important role in the causative of NIHL. It is important to measure it in the grass streaming workers using a noise oximeter. Furthermore, the level of noise is not constant and may be different among various model and age of the machines. The measurement of the noise frequency is important to associate it with the frequency of hearing loss. It is recommended that a hearing conservation program is adopted for the grass streaming worker. The program may include hearing assessment before a worker starts working, the use of hearing protection device, serial audiograms, and setting a limit of exposure to noise. So, as a conclusion, it is necessary to provide ongoing education to grass cutting worker about the risk of noise-induced hearing loss. That's all from us. Thank you.